Hey, good morning. It's Dr. James. I do hope and pray this message finds you and your loved ones peaceful, thriving, and well. And this morning's message is for you. It's for me. It's for anyone and everyone who begins their day with a spiritual practice, whether it's meditation, it's movement, it's prayer, it's whatever the case may be, for you to kind of get your light on, to get your world in alignment, to help you stay connected first thing in the morning. And then we do our very best to keep our light on, that connection, the frequency to the universe, to God throughout our day. But have you ever found, particularly this past year, did you ever find like you were really doing the good work in the morning and then you made your way out in the world and you're like, oh my goodness, my light just got, who turned my light off? You're like, well, I think I turned my light off. But that person, that person is one who kind of helped me to turn my light off. It doesn't really matter how it gets turned off. It's whether or not we can notice it, be aware when we're starting to lose our center, get out of frequency with the universe, with God, and then help ourselves to get back in touch with our truth, with our heart, with our soul. So this practice I began many, many years ago, and I found myself this past year doing okay. When I remembered, I was like, oh my goodness, this is such a great practice to do right now. I call this practice the doorway practice. And if you are at all like me, you're going, yeah, I'm pretty good in the morning, get my spiritual light on, do my practice, I'm all set and ready to go. And then sometime during the day, I get lost. And then I do the things that I react in ways that's not becoming of my truth. It's not in alignment with how I would love my heart to be speaking before my mouth does. So this practice is very, very simple, but it's not easy, because it really requires a level of mindfulness and intention literally hundreds of times a day. But it reminds me when I was reading about Gandhi way back when I was first beginning sort of my more peaceful warrior work, moving out of my teenage years and my early 20s, letting go of bad habits, addiction, stuff that was destroying my life. I had to figure out a way to kind of read things and emulate different people. And I love the work of Gandhi because it was all about nonviolence. And he spoke a lot about nonviolence towards yourself, the ahimsa, which was the movement that he was creating across India through nonviolence, but also how he said, if I can stay in touch with my truth, I don't get violent with myself, which to me means one of the most beautiful practices, which is loving yourself throughout your day. Each and every step along your day, you are still in touch, compassionate, accepting, cheering for your higher self, which is the truth of who you are. So following Gandhi's lead is what this can be, sort of, if you will, for you and me. And it's all about the fact that we pass through hundreds of doorways every day, from the bathroom to the bedroom, from the bedroom to the bathroom to the kitchen. And all of a sudden, in the morning, you've got 100 doorways between your home office, your car door, your garage. Over and over, there are thresholds. And what I've been working on over the last several decades has been training myself. As I pass through the threshold, I simply say under my breath, what would love do now? What would love do now? And when you ask that question of yourself, it's a recentering. It's a reclaiming. It's a re-acknowledgement of your truth and a reminder to get reconnected with your truth, the vibration of how you want to be entering the next room, whether it be a metaphor for the next space, next evolution of your day, your time, your intention, or really walking into that room where your kids are, where your lover is, your spouse, your dog, wherever it may be, the office, wherever you may be walking into. When you walk in under the influence of what would love do, and then you get a chance to be remembering who it is that you are, which is love, and then practice through the action of loving. It's removing the judgment. It's bringing in more compassion, acceptance, more empathy, more light. It's allowing you to walk into the next space, reclaiming where you were that morning in meditation when your lights were burning and you're going, oh my goodness, game on, spiritual, I got it going on, and you're like, woohoo, and then, 9:30, something happens, email, text, news, media, oh my goodness, the world. This is a way of keeping your locus of control in control, which is all about the love. Gandhi was saying throughout his time walking across India under the influence of his spiritual practice of nonviolence was Ram, Ram, Ram. And when he passed away, when he was assassinated. He wasn't screaming. He wasn't saying, oh my God. He was saying simply, God, God, God. The same way he did when he walked in peace is the same way he made his transition. A violent transition from the outside, but a peaceful transition from the inside. Ram, Ram. What would love do now? Practice this. Say, I'm gonna do 10 doorways today, and maybe eventually turns into 11. And then trust me, I've been counting. It's sometimes between 300 and 400 doorways that I will pass through each and every day. And I do my very best to each one remind myself, what would love do now? And then compassionately, courageously walk through that door and live your answer. It's how meditation stays alive throughout the entire day. It's how you keep your light on all the time. So with that, what does love do? It does you. And I love you for that. Thank you for showing up and practicing and being who you are. You are awesome. And the world needs you. Thank you. Peace and love.